myself, and I was raised and brought up a certain type of way, not to act like a certain race. I'm sorry that I am proper. I don't know if you're trying to stereotype your own race. I don't understand, but this is me, and I'm not acting any certain type of way. But myself.
Americans in communities where I've worked, there's been notion of acting white, which sometimes is overstated, but there's an element of truth to it where, okay, if boys are reading too much, then, well, why are you doing that? Or why are you speaking so properly? And the notion that there's some authentic way of being black, that if you're going to be black, you have to act a certain way and wear a certain kind of clothes, that has to go, because there are a whole bunch of different ways for African American men to be authentic.
I will not be categorized. If I had $1 for every time I was told I act white, I wouldn't have to apply for FAFSA every semester. Acting white is often associated with an African American's demeanor. When I'm told you act, talk, dress white, there's an automatic suggestion that my bougie, proper, and refined character isn't suitable to my culture. But since when did race become linked and limited to character or personality traits only? Often being educated, dressing preppy, or acting refined is shunned within African American culture. However, the way in which I talk, dress, and act doesn't represent a desire to not embrace my culture. I'm simply embracing my individuality as the well-rounded, educated-oriented person I am. I will not be categorized. John Ogbu, an anthropology professor at the University of California, Berkeley, proposed a theory that suggests that African American kids underachieve academically because they and their peers associate being smart with acting white, and because they're afraid they'll be shunned. Ogbu gave birth to a term known as oppositional culture, in which he said students saw academic achievement as white. And this theory seems to prevail almost 40 years later, as I have experienced and faced this theory head on. As an African American student in a predominantly white high school, I was once afraid to let my academic merit shine for the sake of my African American peers. Of the few African Americans there were, most of them were in regular core classes. There are about 5 African American students, including me, out of 60 students in the honors program. Furthermore, my friends who weren't in the program would make comments like, "That's too hard for us," or "Why are you in the program? It's for white people." As I started out, I didn't know how to respond to such ignorant comments. I would say, "I don't even know why I'm here myself," underestimating my worth. But as I matured, I altered my answer, no longer admitting self-doubt, but self-confidence. I realized I was there to exude academic merit and serve as a leader for my fellow African American peers. I dedicated myself to proving that being black didn't mean I couldn't be educated. Moreover, not just generally educated, but that I was capable of complex and critical thinking just as the Caucasians in the program were. I would not be categorized. While I might be reserved and closed off in the school setting, that doesn't mean I don't know how to turn up or get lit with those in my culture in an alternate setting. There is an appropriate time and place for everything. I'm serious about my education, so I choose to focus, be attentive, and refine in order to enrich my intellectual being. But when I'm not at school and my priorities are handled, I attend parties with those like me. It is time to stop linking white to positive attributes and black to negative, and to realize there isn't such thing as a non-educated white person and well-educated black person. It's not about being black, it is about expressing individuality, what makes one themselves. I do not act white. I am Keana, identified as an African American based on demographics, but am simply a student who cares about her education and isn't afraid to embrace her culture. I will not be categorized.